Our guest today is Christie Jordan of the Food Bank of Northeast Arkansas. Welcome, Christie.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about the food bank. Everybody, I think, has heard about it, but may not really understand what you do, how hard it is to do it, and who you serve.
Well, the Food Bank of Northeast Arkansas serves 12 counties in Northeast Arkansas. So a lot of people think maybe we just work with the Jonesboro area, but that's not true. We serve 12 counties. We actually have a network of 140 different nonprofit agencies and programs that we work with, and we distribute food to families in need through all of these various programs.
Well, now, you started this food bank yourself?
No, I did not start this food bank, but this is my 21st year at the food bank, so I have grown up in the food banking world.
So you've got it down from A to Z, don't you?
Well, maybe. It's always changing, though. That's one of the things that I really enjoy about working at the food bank is that it's never the same thing twice. Grocery trends change from year to year, which means that the sources of our donations change. It means the way that we distribute food changes, and the way that we work with our agencies change.
My goodness. And Christie has been selected as Volunteer of the Year for nonprofits in the past with the food bank. So I know it's a passion for you, more than a job probably sometimes. So
it is.
Tell me what you see, who gets served, and just how much need there is. You know, a lot of people, I've heard people say in America, people don't believe that there are people who are truly deprived of food in America. They think of that as a third world problem.
Yes.
But it's right here in our backyard.
That's probably one of the hardest parts for people to grasp, and it's probably one of the biggest reasons that we struggle sometimes to raise the funds that we need to do the work that we do. Sadly, hunger is an issue in the United States. Now, it's different than it is in a third world country, I will admit that, but it still exists. We have a lot of families that work low-wage jobs, barely making ends meet, not making ends meet. And when you start looking at the things that you do with your income, you look at a place to live, you look at utilities, medicine, food, and you start making difficult choices when you don't have enough money to go around to all of those pots. Where do you start cutting? And most families start cutting with food, or they will buy cheaper food that has less nutritional value. So we see a lot of families that work low-income jobs. We also see people that are generational poverty. And so one generation grows up following this generation before and not realizing that there's a different way to live, not feeling empowered to change their circumstances. We also have people that are middle class and have lived paycheck to paycheck for all of their adult life, and then one emergency happens. Maybe it's an illness, maybe it's an unexpected major car repair, maybe it is something that happens with a child, an emergency, a broken bone, and suddenly there is no money in savings. And if you are already living paycheck to paycheck, you're in need of food because you can't pay all of your bills.
Sad but true. So tell us a little bit about your sources. Where do you get the food? You have, I know you've served a couple of tons of food a year in a given year in the past, and it's probably grown.
When we moved into our new building several years ago, we were distributing 3 million pounds annually. Now we distribute 7 million pounds annually in Northeast Arkansas. We get our food from a lot of different places. We have a lot of local food manufacturers that work with us, and they donate product. Sometimes it is just a commitment that they have to support the food bank. Sometimes it's a quality assurance issue within the company. There's nothing wrong with it, but maybe the moisture content of a particular product is above what their quality controls allows it to be. And the only thing that does is maybe shorten the shelf life. And so therefore they cannot sell it. So they'll donate it to the food bank. Sometimes it's close to expiration, but canned goods actually keep for years past the expiration date, but they won't sell them mainstream retail, and so they'll donate them to the food bank. So those are some of the ways that we get food locally. We also get food being part of Feeding America. And so we are a network of food banks nationwide. There's 200 food banks nationwide. We collaborate and we work together with a national organization to get food donations. We have a partnership with Walmart because of that national partnership with Feeding America. So we get retail food donations through Walmart and some other retail stores like Target and Sam's Club. So those are some, and then we also have the Arkansas Hunger Relief Alliance, of which we're a founding member, and they supply food that's been gleaned from farm fields here in Arkansas. So we have a lot of different sources of food donations.
Very nice. Now, how do you identify who needs food? I mean, I don't walk down the street and think this person's hungry. I need to find food for them. So how do you identify the need?
That's where our partner agencies come in. They're our hands and feet in their local community. Since we serve 12 counties in Northeast Arkansas, it would not be efficient for us to go through all of those 12 counties and try to directly serve families in need. There are some programs where we do serve, and it's strictly income-based, but those local food pantries, soup kitchens, and shelters, they know the people in their communities.
Right.
So our role is to get food to those agencies, those programs, and then they serve the people in need in their own community.
One of the senior programs is Meals on Wheels, and I would assume that one of your target audiences is seniors. So what type of programs do you have for that?
That's correct. Meals on Wheels is a program that is operated through area senior centers and the East Arkansas Area Agency on Aging. But because there is such a need for serving senior citizens in Northeast Arkansas, a few years ago we started a partnership with the Area Agency on Aging, and we established food pantries in the senior centers in the area. And so pretty much in all of the counties in Northeast Arkansas, there is a food pantry and a senior center. And we contract with the state of Arkansas to provide commodity supplemental food boxes to those programs. And so the senior citizens are able to, if they live within the city limits, they can get transportation to their local senior center. It's a place that they're accustomed to going. It's an opportunity for them to get to socialize. Because many of them live alone, and it's also an opportunity for them to have a noon meal that's prepared for them. If they are able to make a contribution for that noon meal, then they can, but it's not required. And so if they are income challenged, it's a way that they can get adequate nutrition by going and having a meal that's prepared for them. But we serve over 1,000 senior citizens every month through our CSFB Food Box program.
My goodness. And that's, you touched on something there that really struck a chord with me when you said it's a social thing too, because eating anywhere in the world is largely a part of a social process too. And,
It is.
and so that's really neat. You see people, they come in not just hungry but lonely, and so you probably see them get a smile and get to enjoy their peers.
I have a soft spot in my place for our senior citizens, and unfortunately it's one of the more difficult programs to fundraise for. People really feel compelled to give for children's programs and our backpack program, and I'm very thankful for that. But we have such a need to serve senior citizens in our area, and we struggled for a lot of years to grow this program, and we were able to, in the last couple of years, really step up the service that we're giving to senior citizens, but we really need more funding to support our senior programs.
Where can people give? Can just individuals give, or do you need more help from corporations or businesses?
We will take help from any sector that wants to offer it. Honestly, a lot of our support comes from individuals, people that send us anywhere from $5 to $10 a month, sometimes just an annual gift of $25, and it all adds up. And so that's a big part of it. We do have corporate donors. We could always use more corporate donors. A lot of people don't realize that the food bank is not a government organization, so we have to fundraise for our entire budget, and our budget each year is around $1.5 million. And there's very few of dollars that are fees for services, things that are reimbursable through programs like CSFP and the commodity distributions that we do. We can get a little bit of reimbursement from some of those programs, but most of what we do in our budget is strictly fundraising, grant writing, and individual donations and corporate donations. So that's a very important part of the food bank. Without the generosity of individuals in Northeast Arkansas, we could not keep our doors open.
So that's an important thing to know is when you donate to the Food Bank of Northeast Arkansas, your money is going to take care. It's going to feed actual human beings who otherwise would be hungry.
Yes.
And lonely.
Mm-hmm.
And so, can you think, whenever I think of certain projects or nonprofits, there's usually a story. There's usually several people and memories that stick out anecdotally. Can you think of someone that you saw that was in a bad way and really benefited from your service?
I can think of several. When we first started the backpack program several years ago, there was a young boy who came by the counselor's office on Friday afternoon to pick up his backpack, and he was so excited that he sat down on the floor and unzipped the backpack and started going through the weekend of food, and we were able to send fresh apples home in the backpacks at that point in time. And he saw that bright red apple on top, and he took it out, and with a big smile he handed it to the counselor. And she said, isn't that great? Look at all that food, and it's yours for the weekend. Now, you need to hurry up and put it all back in so you can get on the bus and head home. And she said his face just immediately, the smile faded. And so she, being a school counselor, thought that maybe there was some issue that he didn't want to go home. And so she asked him, what's wrong? And he looked at her and he said, I want you to have this apple. I've never had anything that was mine to share. And so many people forget how important food is. And it's more than just something to eat. It is hope for a lot of people. Knowing that stability, that you have that stability of knowing where your next meal is going to come from, really has a huge impact when you have experienced food insecurity, when you have gone before without knowing where that next meal is coming from. It really has a huge impact on people's lives, and if you've not experienced that, you don't understand that.
So like the fact that this young man was wanting to give, even though I think there's a innate desire for everyone to want to help and share.
Each year when we do the Fill the Food Bank, that's one of the things that really impresses me, is that the individuals that come through and donate to us tell us stories about, I had to ask for food assistance, and I have the means to give right now. I want to share. That's fabulous. It is.
That's building a community right there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have long-term? What is the typical recipient? Are they long-term receivers? Are they in a tight spot, as you just kind of mentioned, and they're going to come out of it? What do you see? I guess you see probably a little bit of everything.
We see a little bit of everything. We do see several families and individuals that need help on a monthly basis. We see some that come maybe a couple of times a year. So it just kind of varies depending on their family situation.
You mentioned the backpack program. Are there other programs that you guys have running?
Mm-hmm. We have several programs. In addition to the backpack and the senior food pantry program that we've already talked about, we do commodity distributions, and that's actually a mobile pantry. And pretty much every week of the year we have a mobile pantry somewhere distributing commodity foods. We have a calendar on our website that lists those, so if people are interested, they can go to foodbankofnea.org and look that up. They can click on their county and it will give them the schedule of the food distributions for their county for that year. We also have a fresh produce program. Several years ago, when we looked at the amount of food, the missing meals that we have in Northeast Arkansas, which is somewhere around 12 million meals missing from families' tables in Northeast Arkansas every year. And we wanted to be able to grow our distribution, and we had looked at all of our channels of food donations and felt that we were really tapped out in a lot of the areas where we were getting food. And we had Feeding America come in and look at that and help us. And we looked at the gleaning program and saw that there was room for growing our fresh produce distribution. And so with the help of Feeding America and a grant from them, we started getting produce not only from Arkansas but from neighboring states as well. And we distribute well over 1 million pounds of fresh produce every year since we started that program. And we do that through our food pantries. We also do fresh produce distributions where we will send 10 pallets of fresh produce to a particular community, and people just come out and get the fresh produce that they need. Everything from melons, potatoes, onions, carrots, cabbage, fruits and vegetables. We try to have a wide variety, and not only does that help us increase the amount of food that we're getting into communities, it also helps us increase the nutritional value of the food that we're distributing.
Very nice. Now, in Jonesboro specifically, where can people go to get the food? Is that strictly through your partners?
There are other organizations that operate food pantries that are not associated with the food bank, but we have several here in Craighead County. I believe that there are something like 19 food pantries in the Craighead County area. And again, those are listed on our website at foodbankofnea.org. And click on Craighead County and it will break it down by city where you can go. It also gives the days and hours of operation for those programs.
And for those who want to donate or volunteer, do you have a need for actual volunteer workers?
Yes, we have a great need for volunteer workers. We pack more than probably around 2,500 food boxes every month for our various programs, and that's all done by volunteers. So yes, we absolutely need volunteer groups to come out and help us. And
where are you located? Can people come by, or do you prefer that they go to the website to contact?
It would be helpful for most people to go to the website if they have access for that. The way the food bank is designed, we work with getting food to our partner agencies to serve families in need, or we go out and do that into a particular community. But if someone wants to volunteer or has questions or would like a tour of the food bank, we're located at 3414 One Place. So the street is ONE Place.
Okay.
And so it's right behind the Nettleton School Administration building off of Parker Road.
Yeah, just south of I-555, correct?
Yes.
Very nice. Christie, is there anything else that we need to talk about?
I just really appreciate the opportunity. One of the challenges, as you stated earlier, was people don't think about hunger existing in the United States. Unfortunately, not only does it exist, Arkansas is consistently in the top 5. So sometimes we gain some ground and we'll move up or move down, which we want to be lower on that list.
Yes.
But usually we are right up there in the top 3 states that have the highest rates of hunger in the United States. And when you think about that, Arkansas is an agricultural state, and all of the things that we grow, and you think about the amount of food that we waste as a nation, we just really should not have this problem. And it's something that we can fix, something that we can solve, but it takes everybody doing their part. And as we said, everybody, no matter how little it is that you can give, it all adds up and makes a huge difference.
Can there be food donations from homes, or
Yes.
is that okay?
Yes, we can accept food donations from individuals. They have to be within date, so they cannot be expired. as we talked about, canned goods that come from a manufacturer, they can give us a release date past that expiration because they have controlled the circumstances and the temperature under which those items have been stored. If you store it in a garage or something that is not climate controlled, then that obviously decreases the shelf life of it. And so if it's an individual donation, we do ask that it's within the expiration date.
Wonderful. That's a lot of good information. Christie, thank you for what you do, and thank you to the Food Bank of Northeast Arkansas for everything that you do to take care of our residents and citizens.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.